All right, Stacy.
Yes.
Stacy, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. I was born in Romania, but I grew up in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver. Tell me about your family.
My mother, she's had me when she was 16. My father died when I was 5.
Mm.
My mother got addicted to heroin when I was 4, and we lived in Denver, Colorado. And she sold me to her pimp because she couldn't afford her drugs. And so the pimp would daily rape me very violently from 4 till I was 9. And then I got out because social services came to the place where we were staying to try to find out why it is that I wasn't in school. That was probably the worst and best day of my life, because from there I bounced around from foster homes to foster homes, and the men in foster homes, you know, they don't like their foster children to be too pretty, especially when they're taking advantage of you.
So your sexual abuse didn't stop.
No. I think the first time I tried to say no, I got beat in the face. And I go, sorry. You know, I don't condone what happens in the world. I know things happen because we're supposed to go through them to grow. And there's a point in your child life where you ask for, excuse my French, when's fucking enough? I'm 49 years old. And I have nothing to show for anything that I've ever done. And I have 7 degrees under my belt. I speak 9 different languages. I'm schooled, you know. My husband died June 5th, and I lost my sobriety for 18 years and got back stuck on drugs again. 2 days later, my mom died. And then November 19th, my grandmother died. So last year was really hard for me. Thank you. I'm not crying because poor me. I'm crying because I finally get to fucking release something. Excuse my French, I'm sorry. I finally get to release something, you know. I never ever thought that I would be sitting in California, coming all the way from Colorado to Utah to here. I mean, Nevada, you say here, sorry, not Utah. To come to you because I know there's somebody out there that needs to hear that through it all, I didn't give up. I didn't quit. I may have got high. I may have done some crazy things in my life. But I didn't quit. There's a lot of people that are on the streets that don't even care about themselves anymore because of the shit they've been through.
Where have you been staying the last?
In my Jeep, I have a car.
In your car?
Yeah. I couldn't stay up here because cops kind of frowned on you, which I don't understand. Have you seen Skid Row? It's crazy. They kind of frown on you living in your car, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to sell it and live in a damn tent. My back's too fat for a tip slab, right? So I went down to Downing. I've been staying down there and in the shopping center.
Where has your drug been?
What is my drug been?
Yeah,
crystal meth.
Crystal meth?
Yeah. I started doing crystal meth at 14. At 14, I lived in Kersey, Colorado. My mom was a bartender there. And I went to a party in Greeley, Colorado at college, and I got date raped by 4 men. They ended up beating me pretty bad. They threw me in a trash can behind the Salvation Army in Greeley, Colorado, and a bum fell on me. I had to have reconstructive surgery on my face at 14. So I need to change something. you know.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I got 6.
Where are they?
I got 4 boys and 2 girls. One lives in Tennessee. One lives in Kentucky. 2 of my other kids live in Colorado. One lives in Utah.
And they're with who?
They're other spouses.
Oh, I
They're
see.
wives and kids, yeah. Let me see. All but one of my kids have a wife. My one boy is in prison.
But did you raise your kids?
Yes and no. When I went to prison when my youngest was 4 and my oldest was 9. So my mother was alive at that time.
What'd you go to prison for?
Armed robbery. I was the getaway driver. You should have thought that I probably should have went for methamphetamines as much as I've done them, or for selling women, or for stealing cars, or for hot rodding a U-Haul from California to Texas in 8 hours.
But you didn't get caught on any of those.
None of it, no, and I should have probably got a lot more time than I did. Believe me, I deserved it.
But your mom was raising your kids after that?
Yeah, but she got scared because social services told her that, excuse me,
Do you think that's a good idea after the way she handled you?
no, but you know, at that time, I didn't want her to be in the system. But then she was clean for a minute, and then when she lost my kids, and I couldn't get out fast enough to get them, she ended back up on heroin again. And when I went home, June 7th, after 2 days after my husband died, I found my mom in a hotel room with needles sticking out of her arm. She OD'd. She died 2 days after my husband did, last year.
Sorry.
I think she had enough. I think she quit on herself. You know, I know that she's my mom. So I have the most respect for her for that reason. What she chose to do is what she chose to do because of how she was raised, you know? My grandparents weren't very easy to get along with. They weren't the lovey-dovey, come and let me give you a hug, but they worked hard, you know? And my grandpa showed tough love. You know, like, if you didn't come home on time, you got your ass kicked. You know, straight up, that's just the way it was. And that's how my mom raised me, you know? And then I turned out to be promiscuous because of what I was taught. I think my mom gave up because my mom couldn't figure out why it was that she was the way she was. I think my mom made a beautiful person when she had me. I'm the one that chose to be who I am today, not my mom.
If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
I don't think I would have done anything differently, to tell you the truth, Mark. Because I am who I am today because of it. And that's how I know that I can make this and change. Because I'm determined.
You told me you stopped smoking for 3 days.
Yep. That was the hardest thing. But I did it. And I'm doing it. Today's my 3rd day.
How have you been supporting yourself while you've been living in the car?
I have a daughter that I call and she helps me out a lot.
So your relationship with your kids is still...
Just one. Only my daughter. She's my stepdaughter. She's not even my real daughter.
So your real kids...
They're mad at me. Which I get. And they can be. Until they're ready. And if I win, then so be it. And if not, then so be it. You know, all I can do is change from here on. I can't fix what is broken. You know, they change from here out, you know. And now my reaction is going to be to what they're doing. I love my kids regardless of what they've done. Who they are, where they become. It's up to them to accept me for who I am now.
What's your biggest fear now?
To die in my car. To die homeless. If I could show you my husband and I, you would think that we were totally different people because we weren't on drugs, he didn't drink nothing. When he died, my life died. He was my best friend. My lover, my companion. We were like magnets. It wasn't convenience, it was independence and dependence. We never fought. We never hit each other. I cuss her every once in a while because we broke a plate or something, but he was the most easy, passionate, going person until the end. He wasn't getting enough blood to his brain, and his brain was dying. He had really bad nosebleeds his whole entire life, and he had a blood clot up in his nose right here. And on June 5th, he blew his nose. At 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, he was dead. The doctor came in and asked me how long my husband had been an alcoholic, and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because his liver's blacker than hell, because it had been detoxing his blood out of his bio, out of everything, clearing it out, us not knowing that he had a blood leak in his nose. We killed him."
What's your biggest regret?
Wasted time. There's that old saying, put the money away for a rainy day. Well, there's only two ways you can have this happen. Either it rain all the time, and you have no money, or it doesn't rain and you're rich. I didn't do neither. I think the regret of not taking the time to stop and smell the roses is what I regret the most. Because we have 6 kids, As soon as we got married, boom, 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 and then we're living our life for our kids. We never fought about anything about us. We never disagreed about anything about us. When we had 6 kids, we had it all for them to be able to work on their problems, However, when our last one finally moved out, we both looked at each other and were like, "Who are you?"
Do you think you're self-destructive?
I think I set myself up for failure. I do, because I'm afraid to succeed and I'm afraid to fail. And that's a double-edged sword, and I don't know how to work through both of them at the same time.
Do you still have hope?
It's dim, but it's there.
That's great.
I'd rather have hope than give up, because I don't know how to quit. I know how to walk away, but I don't know how to quit. Nine languages is a lot of language to learn, And if I would have quit on that, I wouldn't know 9 different languages, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't be able to talk to anybody. I think quitting on myself is an easy thing not to do. Sometimes it's too easy for me not to do. Because of course I know myself better than anybody else does, I know that I'm scared because I do know myself too well. I set myself up for failure.
What's been your lowest point in your life?
Now.
Right now?
Yep. Normally I'm working 3 jobs. Running a house.
Losing everybody, getting older.
Yep.
Not having your kids in your life.
My husband dying. I have no purpose. I have no purpose whatsoever.
What's been your favorite memory in your life?
My favorite memory, there's a few of them actually. Most that sticks out in my mind is it was Christmas, and me and my husband had bought a house in Washington State, and my parents moved from Colorado out to Washington to live with us, and they rented an apartment upstairs, And my daughter and her boyfriend rented the back one because it was a tri-level house that turned into 3 apartments. And my mom hadn't seen snow in probably about 5 years because in Colorado it didn't snow for a little while, you know? So me and my husband Brad went and found fake snow that we could grow in a tube. My mom was that type of lady that would have all the lights in the house, and I'll be singing and everything. People would come and stop and be at our house all hours of the night. The neighbors would be pissed off. My mom went 3 years in a row, you know, to pay her light bill for Christmas. I hated putting up decorations, damn it. Now I'd give anything. I haven't put up a tree in 4 years.
What would you like to see happen in the future?
I want to make myself become something. I want my life to be meant something. I don't want to have to die like my husband did without a funeral. Nobody there. Because both of us didn't really have people that cared, you know. He grew up in a different side of the tracks, rich, but in a bubble. His mom would send him to a room and nobody would ever communicate with him. And, you know, and I don't want to die like that. I don't want to. I don't want anybody to ever say that I quitted. If there's one thing that I got out of everything that I've been through, the harder I work, the harder it gets. The more I say myself, the easier it is to be me, easier it is to make it, easier it is for me to put one foot in front of the other. Anytime that I try to step out of who I am, I get slapped down because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I'm here to love humanity and help humanity grow and find true love and find compassion. We live in a day and age right now that nobody has compassion anymore.
Do you blame drugs for why you're in this situation?
No, I blame my parents as parents. I blame us the way we were parented. Drugs, I chose to do them. That's my fault, okay?
Or they're probably just a way of escaping what you went through as a kid.
Pretty much. You know, there was a counselor who told me one time, she said, well, I think the reason why you got raped, blah, 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 is because, you know, no. The reason why I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with is because when I get high with crystal meth, it's not like, oh, dun, dun, dun. I don't know why these people are acting like this. I don't get it, but it takes me away, you know? My mind goes away from what was over there, and I can actually fucking think. Excuse my friends, I'm sorry. I can actually think. It literally makes me stop and think about what's over here and not the poor me's over here. Because I can get stuck in the poor me's easily. But understanding where I've got to go forward comes from a lot of creativity of being me and learning how to be me through the drug, without the drug. And I did it for 18 years, so I know I can do it.
Stacy, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Oh, shit. Like, my ass has been sore a lot because I've been faked a lot. I'm hard hit. Most important lesson is not to take anything for granted. we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised tomorrow at all. So if you live your day, every day to your fullest, and you can lay your head down at night and go to sleep without no problems, then you're doing it. My biggest lesson was to learn how to be me and be okay with it.
All right, Stacy. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Welcome. Thank you, Mark.
I wish you lots of luck with whatever you do from here.
It'll be big.